7 o'clock, and we're on.
I want to call the meeting to order. Regular board meeting of the Greeneview Board of Education for Wednesday, May 18th, 2022. Call the roll.
Susie Arthur.
Here.
Scott Powers.
Present.
Angela Reagan.
Here.
Megan Smith.
Here.
Teresa Wallace.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Say the pledge. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we don't have any invited guests. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board? Okay. We'll move on then to approve the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? I know we don't have the addendum.
Yes.
Anything else? Okay. Motion. Okay. Thanks, Scott. I'll second. Thank you.
Angela Reagan. Yes. Megan Smith.
Yes.
Scott Powers.
Yeah.
Teresa Wallace.
Yes.
Susie Arthur.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And we do not have a presentation. The treasurer's report, number 1, approve the minutes from the regular board meeting, April 20th, 2022. Number 2, approve the April financial reports. Number 3, approve the following donations. $2,000 from the Greene County Community Foundation for the Harold Woods Memorial Scholarship. $1,730 in donations for the Terry Pickering Scholarship. Various gift cards, gift certificates, cash, toys, books, Apple Watch, wireless earbuds, fishing poles, and other miscellaneous items donated for the AR auction at Greeneview Middle School. Number 4, approve the updated Ohio Association of School Business Officials, OASBO 457 plan document. Number 5, approve the amended appropriations for fiscal year 2022 as presented. Number 6, approve the amended certificate of estimated resources for fiscal year 2022 as presented. Number 7, approve the May 5-year forecast. Number 8, approve the return of the $30,000 advance made to the athletic fund in October 2021 back to the general fund. And then on the addendum, number 9, approve an instrument donation from Cedarville High School for timpani drums.
Does anyone have any questions on the April financial reports? I put a bunch of donations on there. You'll see more and more donations because I feel that if someone takes the time to donate to the school district, to the kiddos, or to the staff, that they should be recognized to do no matter what they donate. The supporting documentation behind who donated for the Terry Pickering Scholarship is in your packet, as well as all the different donations that came in for the AR auction. There were too many to list individually.
Thank you for doing that.
The updated 457 plan document, OASBO made a change due to the CARES Act back in December of 2020, and we just needed to update our approval of that. So that's why there's on there. And then we had a couple appropriation changes and estimated resource changes for different funds for the district. And then with that, I will go ahead and start the 5-year forecast. Each of you has a copy of the actual forecast along with the notes and the supporting assumptions and everything in your packet. I didn't actually put the 5-year forecast on here, but it will be posted online as well as a presentation if anyone wants to reference that at any other time. So that'll probably be in the next couple of days if you wanted to look at that. The forecast is required by the Ohio Department of Education, by Ohio Revised Code, and we have to do it both in November and in May. This is the May update for FY22. It just provides an oversight to ODE and Auditor of State to see how we are finance-wise. There are 3 years of actual information on the forecast and then 5 years of projected operating revenues and expenditures. And basically, the district is looking to make sure that in the first 3 years of the forecast, that there's not a financial deficit. And as my little notes, my little cartoon show, just like Ohio weather, you cannot predict the forecast to an absolute certainty. So it's just the best idea of what we have at a moment in time. My goal is to be realistic, but I can always be very wrong, be very right, or just partially wrong. So basically, it's just if I had a crystal ball, it'd be great, but I do not. So. Moving. My first slide shows a 10-year trend of the general fund revenues. And I always go back a few more years than is required in the forecast because I think it gives you a better accurate picture of what is happening in the district. And you can see that revenues in the district are trending upwards. They're at a very slow pace, but it does show an increase. This pie chart shows the different categories that we have of state funding, and it gives a percentage of the funding for each of those categories. And you can see that almost 50% of the operating revenue that Greeneview receives is from the state of Ohio. This becomes an area of big risk because there are 2 more state budgets in our forecast for FY 24 and 25 and FY 23, 24 and 25, and then 26 and 27. So if the next budget does not approve the new school funding plan, there could be major changes in the revenue that we get from the state. If the state economy falls or stalls or worsens, then we also could be at a risk for losing some funding. Even though that FY 22 and 23 were approved by the legislature on the new funding plan, I've gone ahead and put a the state funding will remain steady across the forecast. And then until we know what the new budgets bring, I cannot really predict what they're going to do. This pie chart gives a picture of the different categories of property tax that Greeneview receives. We receive property taxes from Greene County, Clinton County, and Fayette counties, but although Greene County is our county of record. In 2023, Greene County will have a reappraisal of values for 2024 collections, and we're anticipating around a 3% increase in values for that. With the new funding plan, the more that the district receives in property taxes, the less that the district will receive in state funding, according to the new funding plan. The major changes in the state funding formula is the per pupil funding amount is based on actual expenses faced by the district for each student. The majority of the money now goes towards classroom instruction. They have changed the way that they earmark the funding. Some is now restricted, and as opposed to being unrestricted, and the district is going to be required to show evidence how those restricted funds have been spent. Whereas in the past, we didn't have to do that. FY 22 state funding is based on the enrolled students, with no reduction for resident students attending elsewhere, whereas in the past that we had to fund for those students. And then we also have, so that gives us a little bit of an increase in funding because we're no longer paying for district students that are attending other districts. I wanted to give a screenshot of how the district enrollment is behaving. From FY 12, fiscal year 12 to fiscal year 22, we've lost 135 students over the 11 years. So part of the funding is based on the students enrolled in our district. So if the enrollment continues on a downturn, then we will lose some funding.
How does the career smear account for that?
You know, I'm not exactly sure, but I can find out for you.
Thanks. Is it in the old formula that the funds follow the student?
That is correct. But now it's where they're being educated, or in the district where they reside, where they're being educated as opposed to district where they reside.
The Career Center funds haven't changed either. They've been on a freeze too. And it doesn't matter how many students they've had the same budget now for, I think we're in the third
Yeah, but
year.
my question was, we lost 100 and some odd students over the past 2 years. I know half of our juniors and half of our seniors are going over there. Are those funds being pushed to them and that's part of our loss? That was,
Are they counted in that enrollment, the Career Center kids?
that was kind of.
I would
Yeah,
assume they're still enrolled in.
I would think
Yes.
would think they would still be
Still
enrolled in our
enrolled,
district,
right.
so I would think we would still get credit, but.
But
Certainly the Career Center gets a percentage of that.
Yeah.
Speak of.
No, but I will follow up. I will find out for certain.
I'm just kind of curious on that.
Good question.
It was a good question.
For once,
Then moving on to our expenditures. Again, this is just a 10-year projection to show how the expenditures are trending. Just like the revenues, they're steadily increasing. There are certain categories that tend to be increasing more than others lately. Supplies and materials being one of them, fuel, of course. The next pie chart gives a breakout of the different categories, similar to how I did with revenues in the different general fund operating expenditure categories. As with most districts, salaries and benefits make up the major expenditures with Greeneview. For Greeneview, with those two categories being 75.46% of our operating expenditures. This is still less than the statewide average of 81.15% though. We still have classified negotiations to complete in June, so these numbers could change. We have finished certified negotiations, but not classified. In the benefit category, we have our retirement, which is STRS and SERS, your insurance, workers' comp, unemployment, and Medicare. And a lot of those STRS, SERS, Medicare, and workers' comp, as the salaries increase, those are also going to increase. As far as insurance, we are part of the EPC Insurance Consortium, and they have recommended a 10% increase for premiums across the life of the forecast, just because of the increase in people going back to the doctors and having electric surgeries that they've put off since before COVID. So they recommend that everybody builds in an increase for that to their premiums. The next chart kind of gives a picture of how the different pockets of expenditures are increasing. As you can see, the benefits and the services are continuing to grow over the life of the forecast, greater than the other categories are. And this graph gives you a picture of the revenues, expenditures, and the cash balance all in one snapshot, so that you can see how is everything trending together. The expenditures are trending higher than our revenues. They're on the red line, and the revenues are the blue line, which is a deficit spending in each year of the forecast. This causes the cash balance of the district to go down each year as well. When you look at the final year of the forecast in fiscal year 26, the district is projecting a deficit cash balance of 1.5 million. This next graph, I think, is a very telling picture of where the district is headed financially. The Government Finance Officers Association recommends 60 days of operating cash at the end of each fiscal year, and the district hits this mark around fiscal year 24. In order to stay at or above this in fiscal year 25 and 26, we definitely in FY23 need to look to ways to generate revenue so that we start collecting that in 24, at the very least fiscal year 25. And that's going to be most likely tax levies.
that does not include our reserve balance, right?
No, it does not. So just a few summary facts. The real estate values are expected to remain steady until the update in 2023. Our income tax has increased in FY '22, but we are predicting to go back down to about a 1% increase each year. That was a big increase in FY '22 as everybody came back from COVID and the unemployment started to go back. Everybody started to go back to work. House Bill 110, the Fair School Funding Plan made many changes to the state funding payments and expenses. It eliminates open enrollment revenues and it pays districts directly where the students are educated. This will lower some of our other revenues and may increase our unrestricted grants. And then because of that, we have a tiny net increase to the district's overall funding due to House Bill 110. In the long term, we need to keep an eye on the future state budgets, as if they do not include the school funding plan in those new budgets, then we're going to have to look at, we may be looking at cuts to our state funding. And then we are going to need to find some ways to get our cash balance up after FY '24. Is there any other questions?
Sorry.
Explanations.
No, you can ask them whatever you want to ask them.
I appreciate your presentation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are no questions. We have a motion.
I'm good.
I did have a question on
Okay.
number 8.
Okay.
Do we know what we advanced that $30,000 for?
It was the negative cash balance at that time.
Yeah, I kind of remember us doing that. I don't.
Yeah.
It was because I didn't have any income from ticket sales from the year prior because of
That's
COVID.
right.
Yes, yes.
There you go.
And most likely that will be the case at the end of this fiscal year as well, so. But we're required to pay back advances, whereas maybe if we do a transfer, we won't have to pay that back.
Gotcha. I'll move.
A second.
Megan Smith,
Yes.
Scott Powers,
Yeah,
Teresa Wallace.
Yes.
Suzanne Arthur,
Yes.
and Angela Reagan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And at this time, we'll have the superintendent's update. 1 will be teaching and learning, 2 facilities, and 3 operations.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. For teaching and learning, we have had 112 students register for our summer programming, entering grades 1 through 9. So right now we're organizing our classes and getting the curriculum together and the other enrichment activities that will be taking place there. So pretty happy with the turnout and, looking forward to expanding on even some of the work that we did last year. Believe it or not, spring OST data is out. Our state testing data is out in math, science, and social studies. It's as early as it's ever been out. Have not had opportunity to scrub all of that yet. And we're also still waiting for the English language arts. So once we have all of it, are able to kind of tease it out and then look at like how we're performing now as compared to how we performed in previous years, I'll bring that to you. But we had an administrative team meeting last week and already there are lots of celebrations that we can tell. We kind of took a dive into the high school data. So seeing really, I think, some great work associated, especially with our writing across the curriculum and how that's contributing to an increase in our advanced and accelerated scores. So be looking forward to, putting that entire package together with that. So on that, to that point, summer work's going to take place with teachers, where our tested area teachers will be able to come in and they'll be able to spend some time, take a deep dive with their data, maybe also their collaboration team, their co-teaching teacher, and able to look at the different subgroups and do a deep dive and item analysis. There's 3 dates set aside through the summer to try to accommodate summer schedules for teachers so that they're able to do that. And we will have folks on deck as well to be able to help the teachers and support them with that work so that they can plan for future instruction. Our buildings, and especially the high school. In fact, I was told today that I think the high school is even going to be able to get preliminary schedules out next week. I don't want to speak prematurely, But so I know they've been hard at work working on their schedules for next year. It's quite an undertaking, especially at the high school level, to be able to start preparing for the 22-23 school year. Just as kind of an FYI, special education survey went out this week to all staff to inquire about feedback so that Mr. George and his department can make any improvements and ensuring that we're always kind of reflecting on our practices to improve, especially as it's associated with student support services. And I hear this is uncommon for our district, but we're currently working to seek to fulfill middle school and high school music positions, as well as middle school art, grade 4 social studies, grade 6 ELA, grade 6 math, grade 5 science, grade 3, and grade 1. All mostly too, and you'll see some more on the agenda tonight, many retirements, but also just some internal transfers in the district. Facilities, I don't know if I have a lot of new information really at this point in time in the month of May. Our new maintenance crew is certainly getting a handle on like the mowing and the weeding and taking care of our grounds. This is their first spring and of course going into summer season. So just really they're getting their sea legs under them and how to care for our grounds. Power washing and prep will begin on the field house on Friday, and we hope to actually start early on the exterior painting with the field house on Monday. So there's been a break in the schedule and they're able to get out early and actually do the exterior first. So I think we'll start to see paint next week. Kind of squeezing in here some technology updates. It's always a busy time of year for our technology department as we transition from one year going into the next, and lots of work that takes place over the summer. One of the pieces is that we actually have to yet again transition our website because there's been a buyout. So we're going to be still over the summer working on the project of with Mr. Davis and Ms. DeWitt and myself from School Point to a new vendor. It should still have the same similar look. We've been working on a Gaggle pilot. Gaggle is just student safety software that we've been just using to be able to monitor the technology that our students use. So engaging in a pilot right now, and we'll probably end up with adding that piece to our software package for safety and security. There is always phase work to ensure that our interactive boards are on par. We can't do these projects all at once. So the interactive boards will go to the second floor of the high school starting very soon. In fact, May 25th, I think. New devices and cases for actually this coming year will be the 4th, 7th, and 8th grade classes. There was a gap year because of COVID again. So in the future, students getting new devices and new cases in 4th and 8th grade. For 1st through 3rd graders, they're going to be getting touchscreen Chromebooks, and we're going to phase out the iPads. That will finish this summer, and then we will bring kindergarten in later years. At the elementary school and the high school, we have to upgrade or replace the wireless. The middle school, I believe, has already been taken care of. We're going to enhance our outdoor wireless for the high school football field as well as the middle school football field. Install Huddle at the stadium to allow for the recording video of the sporting events. And I've also been working with Mr. Davis on implementing a companion to our frontline system that will start to digitally. Right now, all of our HR records and all of our documents are in hard copy, to start to digitize them and get them into a centralized system for more efficiencies. It would improve our efficiencies greatly, actually, as well as our onboarding and our hiring, et cetera. So lots of work taking place in our technology department. Operations, Mrs. Fisher shared with you that certified negotiations we completed on April 28th and 29th. I anticipate that we'll be bringing that agreement to the board next month. So kind of bring it to you all at once. Hopefully at that time, we'll also have our classified agreement if we're making any salary adjustments to administrators or non-union or our central office staff, that'll all be bundled in one agenda. Just as part of some recent events that we've experienced here in the district, as of lately, and especially this week, really having productive conversations with administrators, teachers, but also families, just about student behavior and ensuring that making sure that all of our students are safe and feel safe when they're at school. We know that we need to be vigilant and we need to be proactive about making sure that we've expressed our expectations with student behavior, that we are vigilant about that, that we are communicating with families, that we are giving our staff the tools, but also our families the tools about how to engage with students and children. So if situations do arise, that we have the necessary processes, the necessary tools in our toolbox and the language to be able to navigate that. So again, I'm hopeful that moving forward, that again, those have been productive conversations, an ongoing conversation about how we can be open and working together between school and family. Inga and I met with legal counsel again last week regarding the energy optimizers situation. And so Energy Optimizers actually canceled the meeting that we had scheduled for May 23rd, but they do have an offer on the table, so to speak. We had stopped paying our invoices to Energy Optimizers in July to the tune of just shy of, right now, we are back pay about 85 grand. And we had stopped payment because we were unsatisfied with the way in which we were also spending on items and had a product that wasn't working efficiently. So our unpaid invoices again are just shy of 85,000. We had to pay for the additional expenses of approximately $65,000. So we disputed where we had to spend funds in order to, especially in the late summer, early fall, to make sure that our air conditioning was working, or that our air was working. So really, when you do the math, this puts us up about 20 grand in terms of, like, if we're bean counting, we're up $20,000. What Energy Optimizers would like to do is that they would like to, from their, what do I want to say? So we're up 20 grand, leave it at this, call it even, so to speak, and that we start paying the payments on the rest of the project moving forward. When pressed, legal counsel advised that this was probably a good idea to take the settlement, that additional legal pressure would probably be difficult and also expensive, and that the risk of us losing, so to speak, and not completing payments on the final project would likely be expensive. So, and hard to prove. So he felt this was the most economic solution. Again, at this point, if we kind of call it even, we're not really calling it even, we're up 20 grand, and that we just start payments on the rest of the project until we pay for the completion of the project.
Which is how much longer?
So 5 year,
It's about 2 years.
2 years left.
Now, energy optimizers, they're no longer servicing or working in our facilities, right? And
They are not. And you make a good point. It's probably, if we were to continue to press, that what Energy Optimizers would say is, well, we want the opportunity to come back. And I'm not thrilled with that idea.
We all kind of think agree.
Mhm. And just to kind of piggyback on, or maybe, connect some other conversations together. Right now, REAK is our maintenance service agreement. And for the most part, right now, I'm relatively happy with their responsiveness and the way in which they're servicing. In fact, REAK even has a new individual working for them now. He was at the elementary and was able to promptly address some pieces. I understand he was at the high school just 2 days ago and was able to, for far less costs than has been advertised to us through other companies like Prodigy, be able to address the situation. So for me, kind of long way back, is that Energy Optimizers might say, well, you didn't give us the opportunity to come back. But I don't know if we want them.
We gave them plenty of opportunities already.
Right.
Can we say, counter offer their settlement and say, we'll do that, but we want the end of the contract at the end of this year and be done with it altogether. So there's no more 2 more years on this.
That's what Inga and I really pressed, is that aside from the items here, like the dissatisfaction, really the only other thing is to take costs off the total project, which I think is what you're saying.
I'm basically saying, let's end the contract now and be done with them and let it
They,
Greek take over.
Well, REAK is already taking over the
Exactly.
service, but we still owe on the initial, like your mortgage, we still owe on.
Yeah, but they aren't doing anything for us.
So would this be like parts and so
No,
forth?
this is still like, we bought a car,
But I
you
think-
got a
I think
5-year
it was-
loan,
yeah, it
even
was
though
our
your
choice, though,
car's
that
not
they're not
working
still
right,
providing
you're
the
still
service.
paying
Have
on
to
your
make your
car.
payments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to end the
Yeah, that
contract
makes-
early.
We ended the maintenance contract already.
Yeah,
Right.
But then that's, so
So-
now we're paying for like the
Paying for
tools, or we're
nothing.
paying for that car.
you're paying for the car.
Yeah, even though
that
it's
you've
sitting, even though
gotta-
it's sitting in the
Exactly,
garage
you got a
or in the
5-year loan on
backyard.
a car and
So the
it's
maintenance
not
contract
working.
is ended, but
Yeah.
This is just
Mhm.
the initial,
Yeah, this is
contract for the.
And what's their cost per month?
$12,110 and change.
And 2 years
which
left.
is a very hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But legal counsel advised that our risk of losing, like they're gonna say that they saved us energy, which they did. We would have to explicitly identify exactly what is wrong to be able to bring off again, they're gonna itemize this with us, like tell us explicitly doesn't work.
I think we probably need to go with what legal counsel is advising us.
Yeah, it's a,
They know
Yeah,
more
So I think
about
that if we
whether we have,
I was just
a
seeing if
shot
we
of
could
this
get out
or
of the
not.
contract
if we
earlier.
continue to fight it, we're gonna pay more in attorney fees
Yeah,
than we're
right.
going to pay.
Yes.
then we're
sign
gonna
the
lose and we have to
contract.
pay the money anyway, along with all the legal fees.
and maybe more.
The risk of losing is high and they are not budging.
I mean, and I think that I can say with certainty, we don't want them back. Is that
No,
a fair
I
assessment?
Correct.
Yeah.
Just making sure. That's where I'm
Yeah,
at. I
I
just wanna
mean,
make sure I'm not
as long
speaking
as,
for
you know, I
others.
mean, it sounds like Rika's taking care of our facilities, I know.
Mhm, yep,
From
and to the
elementary.
best of their ability right now. Yeah, I don't think energy optimizers is the answer.
Can't clean the woman all, can we?
So
No, so, yeah, again,
think
it's an
it's probably-
unfortunate
I
situation.
think it's probably wise to go with legal counsel. Legal counsel's recommendation on this.
So I will probably in June then bring a settlement that we will need your board approval on to move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
meeting with them and.
Too bad. To end on a high note, Staff Appreciation Week was the first week of May, and I also want to make sure that I thank our staff formally for all the ways in which they care for our students and for each other. Our staff has made it easy for me to feel at home here, and it's because of really who they are as people. I know that everyone knows how thankful I am for each of them, but words really can't express really enough appreciation for what our staff really, and through another challenging year, has demonstrated. So quite thankful for all staff. There are an abundance of activities and awards and accomplishments all taking place in our district, certainly more than I could share here. But I did want to at least honor the highlights for our senior class, the class of 2022. So if you would give me a few moments to share. We have 52 students who attended the Greene County Career Center. We have 5 students that had perfect attendance their senior year. 31 of them plan to attend a 4-year college. 27 of them plan to attend a 2-year college or a trade school. 2 are going directly into the armed services. 26 into the workforce. 7 seniors are members of the National Honor Society. 28 seniors are National Vocational Technical Honor Society members. There are 2 seniors graduating summa cum laude and 5 graduating magna cum laude. 11 seniors earned a diploma with honors. 6 of our Career Center seniors earned a Career Tech diploma with honors. 3 OHC champions, 1 state placer, 1 All Ohio, 3 new school records, 8 senior athlete awards, 27 Greeneview scholar athletes, 35 OHC scholar athletes, 15 first team OHC, 14 second team OHC, 4 honorable mention OHC, 2 OHC players of the year, 4 all district, 1 district champion, 1 district championship, and our graduating class has earned over $1.2 million in scholarships, with over $307,000 coming from local scholarships. So congratulations. to the class of 2022. And graduation will be held this Friday at 7 o'clock at the Dixon Ministry Center on the campus of Cedarville University. And I believe that it will not be live streamed, but it will be recorded.
It's there at 6:30.
Yeah, 6:40, yeah, between 6:30 and 6:45 probably. And that concludes my superintendent's update.
Thank you very much.
I still have 2 more to go. I'm not gonna cry.
At this time, we have new business. Number 1, approve the high school boys basketball team overnight stay to University of Chicago, June 13th, 2022 to June 14th, 2022. Number 2, approve the PO 6423 use of credit cards.
So I've just included an itinerary today in your packet, which should be expected if we have a trip that's going out of state. And then also asking you to reapprove actually policy 6423, the use of credit cards, because we have added specifically the individuals who are allowed to use the card. So it's the same policy as before, but we've added the names of the individuals who are allowed to use the cards per auditing purposes. And that's it.
Is that set at the beginning of the year? Every year, or how do you set, when you set that?
Set the who's allowed to use the card.
Authorization.
Yeah, it's per the treasurer's discretion. Mhm. Yes, at the beginning of the year, to answer your question specifically.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Scott Powers,
Yeah,
Teresa Wallace.
Yes.
Suzanne Arthur.
Yes.
Angela Reagan.
Yes.
Megan Smith. Yes. Motion passes.
Move on to personnel. Number 1, accept the resignation of Suzanne Winkle for retirement. Accept the resignation of Adelaide Della Wydell for retirement. Approve the dock and pay for Billy Travis, May 4th and 5th, 2022 for a family event. Number 4, approve the dock and pay for Bonnie Hoop, April 4th, 2022, flight canceled. Number 5, approve the dock and pay for Janet Wheeler, April 29th, 2022, half day for a family event. Number 6, approve the dock and pay for Brooklyn Dean, April 8th, 2022, half day. Number 7, approve an employment contract for Tommy Morgan, July 1st of 2022 to June 30th of 2025 for the transportation coordinator. Number 8, approve the following supplemental coaches for 2021 and 2022 school year. Robert Gibson, high school junior varsity baseball coach. And then in the addendum, number 9, approve the following summer school programming teachers, Heather Brooks, Don Lambold, and Marie Gill. Number 10, approve Heather Hochstetler as transportation maintenance secretary, step 1, effective for 2022-23 school year. Number 11, approve the following classified substitutes for 2021-2022 school year, Heather Hochstetler. Any questions, or do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay,
I'll second.
Teresa Wallace,
Yes.
Suzanne Arthur.
yes.
Angela Reagan.
Yes.
Megan Smith.
Yeah.
Scott Powers.
Yeah,
Motion passes.
And do we have any discussion? No? So I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
Suzanne Arthur,
Yes.
Angela Reagan.
Yes.
Megan Smith.
Yes.
Scott Powers.
yeah.
Teresa Wallace.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I think it's a record.
That's impressive.